We're beginning.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another edition of Chris Convinces Nathan. See this one right here? This one right here? Right here? Let me get PR Danny to talk to you from off screen. It's like, man, like head over to like accordingtowhim.com and you can listen to the audio show and you'll get like some exclusive content explaining why they're doing this, man. Like, yeah, like totally. Like, I mean, have you never heard of According to Whim? Like, oh my God. Like, I mean, you know, like we have big plans.
I know he can talk and talk. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah,
thanks, Danny.
Talk and talk like with no back knowledge and like still talk something up. Like it's just fluff. It just goes.
If you want to know what we're talking about, go here.
It truly is PR, is what it is.
So, I think we actually just did a pretty good job of it right there.
Yeah.
High five, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is Chris Convinces Nathan. I'm going to try to convince Nathan of something, and he will tell you at the end of my little discussion whether or not he's convinced, not convinced, or convinced with reservations.
Okay.
So, I had this sort of odd thought, and it had to do with two videos that I watched, and I did write a blog post about this too, so I'll put that up as well. But it had to do with two videos that I watched. The first one was a video that you had actually pointed me out to, which is the video having to do with the guy who traded the paperclip and eventually got a house out of it.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Long
It's like,
ago.
it's
yes.
like he did a TED Talk and everything. It just started with this little red paperclip, and he traded it for like a little pen that was shaped like a fish, and then he traded that for, you know, like a broken, air compressor or something like that. And then somebody that needed that kind of air compressor traded him for, something else, and just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he ended up meeting Alice Cooper and Corbin Burnson in the process, and, and then eventually actually got a house out of the deal. So, so there was that story, and because Nathan at the time was just like, you should do this, and it's funny because it's like he's told me a few things so far, and I am completely up here, like in this part of my, self. I'm like, I should do that. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Like one time, like he was like, this is probably we should have been doing Nathan Convinces Chris's back then, but it was just like he's like there were these people and all they did was enter contest. You should do that. And up here, I'm convinced of it. Like I actually have a $25 savings bond, U.S. savings bond, because he said that. I started looking at the backs of cereal boxes and stuff, just all backs of all these different boxes actually at the grocery store to see if they had any contests that I could enter, and at the time I was still married. We had like 4 kids living with us and 2 that would visit every so often. So we had food stamps and everything. And so I found this box, and it was like, if you send in 10 of these little whatever, the little
UPCs?
Yeah, but it was
Proof of purchase?
Yeah, I guess it was just
Sure.
Just you fill it out or whatever. But if you send in 10 of these, we'll send you a $25 savings bond. And so I was like, I've got food stamps. I'm gonna buy a savings bond with food stamps. So I bought like 10 boxes of the cereal, and then just I mostly ate it. Luckily the kids actually kind of liked it, so it wasn't just me eating it. But so what happened, is like I sent off for it, and I got a $25 savings bond. It's in storage somewhere. Order.
You'll never find it. Never find it.
But anyway, so there's that one, and then there's another video, and I cannot remember which video it was, but now that I've realized after talking to Nathan earlier that I can in fact search history, I just didn't know how to do it, I might be able to find it. But this guy was talking about that, becoming rich is really just he said like the 13 or 14 times that you need to double your money, but he was talking about starting with like $1,000. So I figured it out that if you started with $1, it actually takes 20 times doubling your money. So that kind of got me thinking.
Okay, this sounds like a scheme. Okay,
it is, but it's like it's.
I love schemes, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But for those of you out there that
I'm
don't
convinced.
like schemes,
I'm convinced without reservation. Oh, sorry, we haven't gotten to the end of the video.
You know, but it's one of these things where it's like, to me, the reason why this seems sort of interesting to me is because it's only risking like $1 a month, right? If we're ever really technically risking anything more, it's because we actually grew it to that amount. But as far as starting funds, it's only about $1 a month.
Okay.
So the idea would be that, you know, you're doing normal eBay, whatever, you know, you're just, you know, put all this stuff. The idea would be that once a month we buy an item for $1, or it can be like 3 or 4 items if I get a really good deal on some books or something, right?
Okay.
And then we sell those items for $2 or whatever we can get for them. Because you remember we sold that Scotland Yard for like $17 one time. That would be fine, you know, that'd be like 17 times it, but whatever. But the idea is that you do $1 to $2, $2 to $4, $4 to $8, or, yeah, $8, 16, 32, so forth, you know.
Okay.
32 to Commodore 64, Commodore 64 to Commodore 128, Commodore 128 to the Amiga. You know, just keep doubling.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then, so the reason why I thought this would be an interesting idea is not for the fact that I necessarily think that we would ever get to the point where we'd have to be like, oh shit, we're gonna have to like start worrying about tax ramifications here. Although it'd be kind of nice to get there. It'd only be 20 flips, right?
Right.
But the whole idea being is that, you know, if we're going to be doing eBay, like, I'm very limited. Like, I go to a garage sale, I see a bunch of books, I go, hey, can I buy this box of books for like 58 cents? Sure. Oh, thanks. Go ahead and keep the 2 pennies. You know? But, you know, so, you know, I'm kind of limited in my thought process in terms of like buying stuff, whereas what we were talking about last time, I think as sort of a content piece, and not a convinces Nathan piece, but as a content piece, is that we went to garage sales and he was like, look at this train set, you know, like, we got to buy this. I'm like, it's $25 out of the 1,000 we have. Oh my God. And then we sell it for like $150 or something like that, you know. And I think we sold it in like multiple pieces, in fact. I mean, just like 150 was like the bulk of it.
Yeah.
But, and so it's like he kind of understands certain things. And so my thought is that, you know, because you're slow rolling it, it's 1 to 2, 2 to 4, whatever, and because you're doing 1 item a month, so sometimes if you happen to sell a $1 item for $17, you can just try to find a $17 item and go to 34. But what you'd be doing is you'd be kind of moving your game from buying a whole bunch of cheap stuff to flip over, you know, 100, 200, 300, 400%, but 400% of $1 is only like $4 or whatever, $3, whatever that would work out to. So it'd be $3 profit. It'd be $4 total. But anyway, what you really want to get into is you want to get into the idea of spending less time to make more money, which would be where you would want to get into eventually, like I'm going to buy something for, you know, whatever it is, like $1,024 and flip it for $2,048, you know, like that would be worthwhile. You'd have to be more patient because you'd have to figure out something you could actually buy and then flip like that would actually sell for that little and sell for that much.
Right.
But it would kind of give you this idea of sort of learning what's out there that you may not have just by kind of going by what you normally do on eBay. You know, because you kind of have to start figuring it out. Like, okay, well, I don't normally buy things for $8. What do I buy for $8?
Right.
That I can sell for 16. More importantly, not just something I can buy for $8 and sell for 9, but what can I buy for $8 that's going to go for 16? So my whole thought is that if we're going to do eBay in any form or whatever, that once a month I could go find something for $1, and then, you know, or you could go find something for $1, and then we could just kind of go from there. Always, once we sell that, set that, you know, not set it necessarily aside, but at least write down this is what we got for this. You know, like let's say we got our first one in June of 2019. This is our June 2019 flip item, right? And so we just keep track of where we were on that, how much we actually got on the last sale. So like, if we bought something for 16, but it only sold for 25, well then we just go from 25 to 50 if we can. And so we just keep track of that and just see, if we could ever actually get to 1 million, or, maybe we just end up getting stalled out in some of the lower numbers, but actually start turning over some good stuff, whatever. But it just sort of seemed like it'd be an interesting experiment, low ceiling of risk, because we're talking about $1 a month, and even if it gets like, oh man, that $1 a month's just too much, man, we could always just stop, right?
Right.
And if we were to get to say like, oh, well, we bought this thing for 1,024, and then it's just like, oh, we sold it for $400, it's like we really didn't lose anything except our time.
Right.
Because that money was built.
Right.
So that was just kind of my thought. It's sort of more of a learning experience. I wanted to do it as this segment, so in case somebody listening might go, yeah, it's a good idea. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't even think to blame me if you do something wrong. Okay, I'm talking about like slow growth and only like $1 a month. Like, don't do anything stupid. Okay. So, are you convinced? Are you not convinced? Or are you convinced with reservations?
So, yes, I'm convinced 100%. Let's do it. It's your first convinced 100%. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
Cool. All right, we're going to get back to the show now. Once again, if you want to go to According to Whim, you can listen to us talk about this afterwards. We'll be doing another one of these in just a few minutes. But we're going to talk about some other stuff real quickly.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Bye.